Hi, Steve Mills here, the Prudent Marketer. Welcome back to my second podcast. In my first podcast, I spoke about the importance of understanding your sales and marketing numbers. In this one, I'm going to talk about improving those numbers, whatever they are. There's always the extra inch, the stretch, and often in business, the difference between success and failure in marketing is only 3-4 degrees. Just a little shift can improve and increase potential of your business massively. I'll give you a great example from many years ago, in the days when people used to advertise in magazines and newspapers, and I'm saying that tongue-in-cheek, I know they still do, and that's still a useful way of marketing, but back in the good old days, let's say, I worked for a company. They were a Spanish company, and they were selling a piece of equipment that cost about £2 million, and they were selling it into local authorities. Now, what the equipment did was it recycled and separated waste. So it had put the paper down one skip, and the tins and glass in another, and so on and so forth. And it did it automatically. And they were running a advert on a glossy magazine that went out to local authorities, and they were running it on the back page, full back page, and it was costing them £2,000 per month to run this ad. They'd been running it when I started working for them for, I think it was 6 months. So they spent 12 grand. When I asked them how many leads they got, they did actually know, because they got none at all. So they spent 12 grand on advertising without creating a lead. Now, I looked at the advert, and it looked nice, it was attractive, it was great, but the headline was the name of the company. And I said to them, how well known are you in the industry? And they said, well, not very well known at all. Now, I don't really want to tell you the name of the company because I don't want to embarrass them, because they're still around and now thriving, and they were a client of ours for quite some time. But let's just say that the headline, the key part of the advert, was the name of the company. Now, there's an old saying in advertising that the headline is the advert for the advert. So the headline was the advert for the company, in effect. Now, I suggested just a small little change to the advert to see if we could improve the performance of the ad without spending any more. They were tied into a year anyway, and I suggested changing the most important part, and that is the headline. So we changed it from the company name to what the product did. Now, what the product did was to save local authorities 25 to 35% on the cost of recycling. And that's what the headline was. It said local authorities save 25 to 35% on the cost of recycling. And cut a long story short, the following month they got 2 sales. In other words, £4 million worth of business. And that took me about 10 minutes to figure out. Now, I say that not to impress you, but just to impress upon you that if I can do that, then perhaps you can do that. Yeah, you can certainly do that if you're working with me. We can look at each and every element of your marketing and work out how can we do that better. So, for example, you've probably got a website. My question to you is firstly, how many people are visiting the site? Secondly, what are you doing to get people to visit the site? And thirdly, what could you do to improve the effectiveness of what you do? I suppose fourthly would be, what else could you do in order to improve the traffic to the site? Now, I've not got time in this podcast to go through all the many things that you could do, but it could be something as simple like, if you're using, LinkedIn to drive traffic to your website, or SEO, it could be a matter of just changing the words in your advert or in your posts. It could be offering something for free. It could be adding a video to your LinkedIn post so that more people, you've got the opportunity to influence people, not only in the words that you use, but how you use those words and your body language, which, as we all know, is the key. They say the words and how we influence people amount to about 8%. So how we say it and our body language at the time is a real key part of how we influence people. That's why video is so powerful in marketing. So, once we've looked at that and said, right, okay, we're getting more people to the website, my next question is, what's your conversion rate? How many people who go to your website convert into leads? Now, worldwide, the average conversion rate is approximately 1%. So every 100 people that go to our website, they get one sale. That's worldwide, that's on average. So my initial question, again, based on the first podcast, is what is your current numbers? How many people do you need to go to your website in order to create a lead? The second question, which is pertinent to this week, is how do you improve those numbers? What could you do to your web page? Could you, as I've just mentioned, add a download? Could you add a video to your website to improve it? Could you change the words? Could you add a picture? Could you improve your headline? Could you reduce your text or increase your text? Could you add customer testimonials? Could you improve the words that you're actually using? Could you improve the call to action? Key part of any sales presentation is telling people what to do at the end of it. How good on a scale of 1 to 10 is each and every page on your website? And I could go on and on and on. Take referral marketing. What about your email? Could you improve the headline on your email and the text and the use of video, even in email or pictures? Could you add loads of testimonials to your email? Could you make those testimonials bigger? I was working with a client yesterday, and they offer a demonstration. They sell software, but the demo, the button for offering the demo is down the bottom of the page. So I just said, why don't you have it at the top of the page? In fact, in the banner at the top of every page, so it becomes more obvious. It's not something people have to search and scroll down for to get to the bottom in order to book a demo. Let's make it a prominent part of that page. And he sort of said, wow, what a great idea. I never even thought of trying that. And the truth of the matter is that the most important 3 words, I believe, in marketing are these 3. They are testing, testing, and testing. In other words, don't listen to people like me. Test and try different things. Now, I say that slightly tongue-in-cheek. Obviously, someone like myself has got years of experience knowing what's working and what's not. I've been doing this for 27 years now, so you'd have to be a fool not to learn something. And I'm really, really effective at helping businesses to get the most out of everything that they do. So that said, test and test. Just like when you're buying a house, it's all about location, location, location. Marketing is about testing, testing, and testing. And I think from what I've just said what you can test, but you can test the headline, the location, the words, the use of pictures, the use of videos, etc., use of testimonials, and so on and so forth. So that's about it for this webcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to share it with others. If you need any help from me, Steve Mills, the Prudent Marketing Company, we do essentially 2 things. We provide advice and training, and we also offer a done-for-you service. My websites are stevemills.co for the advice and training, and theprudentmarketer.com for the done-for-you marketing service. Thank you very much for listening.